My brother turned me on to jungle in 1996 while I was living in New York, and he had been affiliated with the Concrete Jungle family over there, which was the longest running jungle drum and bass party in New York City now, Mondays since '94. So yeah, he turned me onto it. He was the first person who turned me onto it. And to be honest, it's a funny story because I feel like uh, rather than me choosing to embrace jungle, jungle really embraced me because at that point in my career, I was only spinning reggae and hip hop and dub, and I didn't really relate to it. And it wasn't until 1999 when I first came to London and I met Ray Keith and I met Nicky Black Market over at Black Market Records, bought my first whites, really got a chance to penetrate the music, especially the Congo Natty music and the dread music, and that was the point when I really took jungle seriously. Well, I mean, growing up in New York City, there's an overabundance of culture and music and people, and really I was exposed to reggae as early as my mother playing reggae in the house, my bus driver going to school playing reggae in the bus, to AM and FM radios playing hip hop and reggae together. So for me, that started really early when I was young, probably 9, 10 years old in New York, and then I would say around 1991, I really started studying and collecting reggae music and dance hall, and particularly roots and dub. And by around 1994, I had been to Jamaica and I'd already worked in the studios, voiced my first dubs, and yeah, it's history from there. What inspired me? I mean, I had been DJing for about, I guess it's about 10 years at the point when, I mean, I had been exposed as early as 1990, 1991 in New York to producers. I lived with a few producers, worked with a couple of artists at that point, just kind of doing gigs. And, we had a SB1200 in the house, we had a couple turntables, we had some Roland samplers, and an MPC, and before long I just kind of found myself messing with it. But it wasn't until around 99, 2000 where I really started taking it seriously and producing, using proper equipment and proper studios. Well, a good friend of ours, Arcola, who I used to work with in Chopstick Dubplate with Jack and Murder, invited me to come up and do a Canadian tour with him in 2007, I think it was. And he brought me up to Toronto through a promoter named Saigon, who's still up there working. And Saigon had booked me and Marcus basically one after the other. And I got a chance to meet him. I'd been playing his music probably for about 4 years at that time. And we had a great introduction. The next day we went to the studio, we started talking. Turns out that he had a label called Liondubs, and my label is Liondub International, and we just said, yo, let's get together and just combine this thing and make a even more powerful label. And so it was born around 2008. We put out our first record, our first vinyls, and since then it's been smooth sailing, rock solid. It's been a great working relationship. I mean, stand out is the perfect word. It's really simple. If it makes the hairs on the back of my head stand up, I'm gonna sign it. Well, I spent the past 15 years voicing dub plates for myself and for sounds all around the world, both in Brooklyn, in Jamaica, and in London. So, yeah, from working in mastering studios, dub studios, recording studios, I just made the links and decided, to take it more seriously and kind of utilize these contacts in order to make good records. And so I would say around 2000, a little earlier, but 2000, we opened up a studio in Brooklyn, started voicing dub plates and cutting them, and from there it was just really all downhill. I think, I met Johnny Osborne in around 1999, 2000, when he had just reached America from England. And, he really introduced me to tons of artists and showed me the ropes as far as the business was concerned. I got a lot of thanks for him for doing that for me. I don't really look at it as how do you say, like pride per se. It's just, it makes sense. It sounds good musically. And, like I said, the first records that really hit me and resonated for me were Congo Natty records, Those records made sense. They combined hip-hop and reggae and dancehall music into a new breakbeat form of music, and a whole new genre, and for whatever reason, it just resonated. And from that time, it's never been a question. A lot of time, it's really fascinating because you'll have a veteran artist of 40 years in the studio, a man that's recorded on Studio One rhythms, Channel One rhythms, all of them, the greats. And you throw on a jungle track, you throw on a reggae track, and they're like, yeah, they get a little vibe. And then you throw on a jungle track, all of a sudden they start bouncing, jumping, and the lyrics are flowing like water. So really, it's just natural. Well, just as you mentioned, having such incredible reggae vocalists and be able to work with them legitimately. Um, Again, I say legitimately, like paying them properly, crediting them properly, giving them their publishing. From that alone, I feel like the foundation of it is really strong, and I've had the support of those reggae artists and producers, for that matter, because so many producers really want to work with these artists. But yeah, stand out, really unique productions. Everything high quality, technically proper, and forward-thinking releases. Not just kind of staying in the box and doing what everybody else is doing, but doing our own thing and doing it in in a trinity, in a sense. It's the connection between myself and, well, it's really four, isn't it? It's four ways, but it's my connection from being in New York to my connections in Jamaica as the singers, and then to Marcus in Toronto and the scene up there. And then my connection to London, and bringing those four connections really tightly together to create products that are stand out. Well, I do rooftop parties in Soho for a number of years now. I used to always spend a lot of time in Soho working, and I do a rooftop pool party at a very nice hotel in Soho, very posh place, as you would say. And I had done a party for Kelly Slater, who's a world championship surfer, and the owner of the place has always supported me properly and just told me, yo, I got a gig for you. So when? He said Friday night. I said, sorry, boss, I'm going on vacation. I'm supposed to go on vacation. He said, well, yo, trust me, you need to take this gig. I said, man, I don't think I can do it. He's like, just trust me, believe me. And I said, why don't you just tell me what's going on? He's like, I can't tell you anything. Just know that you will appreciate it. I basically showed up to a dinner with about 30 people celebrating Mick Jagger's birthday party without even knowing. And it was brilliant. And the Jagger family is brilliant, incredible, kind people. And I got to tell you, they love jungle and drum and bass. They love it, I'm telling you. Well, from my experience touring in the past year, it's been really good out on the west coast of the States. We've had some really amazing gigs in New York. I'm hearing little things bubbling here and there in the Midwest again, which is nice. Toronto's a little slow, but I can't really have a problem or hate on them because they've been kind of the rock for jungle for North America for the past 15 years. So I think they're just in a downtime. But the rest of the world, jungle is just going stronger from everything I see, from the production quality to the producers, the amount of people supporting it, sales, everything. It's on the up 100%. Well, Billy Bunt is the man. That's how it came about. He, contacted me and spoke about, how he appreciated my work and what I was doing with Cool and with my label, and he'd been supporting my music for some time. And when we got down to, business and talking about it, it just it clicked immediately and was very natural to build a project with him on Music Mondays. And it's a perfect project in my opinion because it pushes the music further, both for myself obviously, but for all of the artists. For my label, because I'm showcasing about 90% of the music on it is from the label. It helps the radio at the same time because both of our shows on the radio, and it helps the Music Mondays label forward. So to me, it's a natural fit. There's a lot of artists featured on the album, from Potential Bad Boy to Marcus Visionary to Mind State to True Spirit to Hoags to Fine Print, a whole bunch of artists and musicians on the label. Lowriders from Russia, Subkillers from San Diego in the United States. Those are some of the artists. Myself, and vocal artists, there's a number, starting Sugar Minot, Smokey Dog, Pat Anthony, a lot of really good vocalists on the album as well. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, digital sales are okay. Vinyl sales are okay, but CD sales have actually been strong even in the past 5 years. And as I do my research on the industry, I'm seeing that CD sales are, not going anywhere. That they're in fact they're improving, as are vinyl sales. But I think it's necessary to create analog, tangible, physical products for the masses, so that they can incorporate them into their lives, play them in their cars, give them as gifts, and really just kind of appreciate them like I used to appreciate records as a child or as a upcoming DJ. Vinyl digging through the dust and the dirt in Flatbush in Brooklyn. It's like that experience I will never ever forget, and I want people to have that experience to this day. Good music, good vibes, energy, everything. I'm gonna bring it and bring the best music and the best performance I possibly can to that event. I've just started working on a project with Rebel MC, the Congo Natty family. I'm honored to be working on that project. I have a new single coming out on the Serial Killers label that I did recently in conjunction with DJ Madness and Lenny D Ice. Aside from that, I'm working on my own album project with two singers in New York, Metric Man and Jadan, and numerous projects with Marcus. A new project that we're doing called Rumble, which should probably drop sometime around November. So it just doesn't stop. There's countless back catalog to deal with, and tons of fresh material as well that I'm working on.